some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you gonna be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
I don't know if you guys heard, but the CDC, they say no more masks. It's going to be a mask-off summer.
Wow, I was not expecting this. Yes.
Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back. Mask off. I'm glad to be back to the Circle Club show. As you can see, esteemed guest, Next Level Gaming Events is here. We got Matt back. I'm excited in a new space, as you can see. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Doing good, feeling good.
Yep.
You know, like you said in the intro, masks off this summer. I can't wait. It's going to be the latter point of the summer, but I'm excited.
Exactly, yeah. And
I'm doing pretty well. Got me a nice burrito bowl over here. Yeah, with masks off for the summer, but the fucking gas shortage that's down there.
Right.
That's exactly what I was about to talk about. Everyone's talking about, gas prices at $3. They're talking about mask off. All I'm concerned about is this Chick-fil-A shortage, man. This is bullshit. Okay?
Man. How do you run out of sauces?
They don't have no... I have been trying to get this sweet and spicy sriracha for 2.5 weeks. 2.5 weeks. I've had to eat Chick-fil-A. I'm a red member, okay? Y'all should have like some sauce to the side for me, okay? It's
be sending out sauces every month like Blue Apron.
You don't have to start making them. You don't have to start making them, bro.
See, that's what someone else told me. They're like, yeah, you gotta make them. I'm like, listen, I don't got time to be making that. You guys need to deliver, okay? I do my part by giving you literally 20% of my paycheck every month. I expect sauce.
That's crazy.
At the very least.
It's to the point.
I heard I heard the hackers also, that was part of their plan, was to shut down the pipeline of both the oil and the sauce.
Some people are saying it's the LGBTQ community. They've attacked Chick-fil-A sauce. They've taken it away from them. I don't know yet.
Honestly, that's just in time for Pride Month. So honestly,
right.
I support it. Shit.
And listen, every time I eat at Chick-fil-A, I make sure to donate an imaginary dollar in the back of my head to the LGBT community, okay? So I will give you guys a token of my love at the end of the year when taxes come around. I'll make sure I give you guys a great donation for supporting the bigotry of Chick-fil-A, and I apologize. I do, but it's just so tasty.
He's kept all his Chick-fil-A receipts. He'll match it. Match every dollar.
Exactly.
Honestly, my dream is to fucking somehow buy Chick-fil-A, and for the first for Pride Month, just donate just free chicken for any LGBTQ member. You come in with a fucking rainbow flag, you getting free Chick-fil-A.
I would open it on Sundays and be like, if you ain't gay, go away. That's what I would say.
Oh,
fucking true.
They'll fly over from corporate so fast. It'd be hilarious.
It's to the
They're
point,
open on what?
It's to the point where I go to the drive-thru now and they're like, Tyrone, oh yeah, you're all set. Because I do the mobile order, man. Like, they know me like that. It's bad. But so today we're gonna get into some conversations about Invincible. This show is crazy, crazy good. The first half, we'll do a no spoiler, kind of talk a little bit about, anime in general, what we thought of this show, give you guys an introduction. And then the second half, we'll get more into the spoilers for those who have seen this. So, we can have a little discussion about that. Why don't we start off with me showing the trailer?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll mute ourselves.
Knock it off, Todd.
I think Amber's been pretty clear about how she feels. I'm nothing like my dad. I want to be just like you.
I've fought to keep this planet safe. Your power's got to be due any day now, son.
Morning! I'm scared, Dad. What if I can't do this?
Follow me. Slow down. Land. I said land. Stop! Get up.
I'm actually getting used to this a little.
That's not good.
You need to be better. After everything he's done, how can I live up to all that?
You need to decide what kind of hero you want to be.
That was you in the blue and the yellow.
Why don't you meet the team after school?
May we count on you in the future?
Yeah, I think so.
And bored of this.
Son, we need to talk. What I'm about to tell you will change everything.
I wasn't ready before. Now I am.
You being a superhero is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Now take me flying or I'm gonna tell everyone you're invincible. Sorry, not sorry.
Alright, that was the trailer for Invincible. That last scene, I'm gonna talk about it in the second half because that pissed me off.
Okay.
As you guys saw, the show is about this kid, Mark Grayson. His dad is a superhero. And basically his dad is like the most famous superhero in the world. And he's kind of in that coming of age 17-year-old stage. And he's finding out more about his dad's powers, who he is as a person. And, you know, he looks up to his father, like his father is like Superman, essentially. And he starts to learn more and more about his history. And it's a shock to him. It's not what anyone expects. And that's kind of my recap. What do you guys think?
I would pretty much say the same thing. For fear of me saying too much, since I'm known to, I think you got it on the point.
Matt?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's kind of like both, you know, this coming of age story as well as a reflection on like the superhero genre itself, and it plays with a lot of the well-known tropes, but takes a more grounded approach to it. I think after the first episode, I got Watchmen vibes, the original Alan Moore comic. So I was very happy with what I saw.
I have to say, the way Matt talks is like he's writing an essay. It's just so eloquent, isn't it? He's like, he just got his sentences all constructed, and he's like...
I love it, though. It's like literally textbook. Like if you go on IMDb or IMDb, you go right on it. Matt just phrases
I was wearing my tweed jacket for this, but it's too hot today. So,
but so just a little background. I don't watch any anime. My quote unquote anime is as I described it off camera is American anime. So like I watch Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, Pokemon, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Teen Titans, that type of thing.
All classics.
And for me, like that of Boondocks, like that's my kind of anime where it's like realistic fiction, drama, superheroes, and like these action scenes and like the style of the anime. But they think it's said not anime. But you know, that's because they're gatekeepers, they're anime snobs.
Oh my god. Well, Carla with the K asked in the chat what defines anime, and I feel like the best person to answer that question is you, Yao.
Well, yes,
real quick, Matt, you're like middle anime, right? Like your foot's in there, but you're not super expert yet, or
yeah. I've dipped my toe in it a few times. I'd say I've probably only finished like one-ish anime series. I was like One Punch Man. I'm almost done with Cowboy Bebop, but it's been like it's taken me 2 years. Not that it's bad, it's just it comes and goes. But
And you're
yeah, for
cultured on the
me
subject.
it's a little bit, yeah. Like I know of the classic things. I haven't seen them, but for me it's more I'm more probably like in tow with like you with having like there isn't always this draw to watch it. Like I've watched a few and I haven't really continued. I remember I'm only like a quarter of the way through the first season of Attack on Titan, so
it's strange for me. Like as someone who is really experimental, like watches really weird TV shows and movies, and like I'm willing to try a lot of things. For some reason, anime, and it's not even the subtitles because I watch foreign movies. For some reason, anime just doesn't feel as inviting, and I don't know what it is about it. Like I've always wanted. I've like Naruto, but I'm always maybe it's because like the fandom is so big. I almost feel like I'm not invited to start. So because it's been around for so long, I'm like, oh, I missed it.
That's fair.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a big
very
thing.
good point.
I remember somebody told me, I think there's two things that kind of like took me away from like just anime as a whole. Is one time one of our good friends growing up, Joe, he like showed me this cool Naruto fight in the later seasons. He's like, yeah, dude, this is super awesome. And granted, the show's usually like a half hour.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, let's watch this cool ass fight. The YouTube video was like 3 hours long. So like the fight took a span of maybe 6 or 7 episodes.
Yes.
And to me, that's way too fucking long.
Dragon Ball Z.
I'm like, bro, I'm trying to see you throw hands.
That's actually a big issue. It used to be a bigger issue back in the day, but it seems like most animes nowadays fixed it. Well, are trying to at least. But yes, that's a great point that you brought up about the fight scenes.
So,
Sorry,
go ahead. Finish, Matt.
I was just gonna finish my last point. And the other one was like a show like One Piece. Your favorite, we know that has like over 100 episodes, and that to me is like
not 100,
started
over 1,000. Yes.
Oh wow, that finalizes the decision for me.
So Carly with the K said our most anime shows under the action genre because I don't love action. And how long have you been watching anime?
All right, so just to give a bit of my resume, because in order for me to claim that I'm an expert to the internet, I have to back it to some extent, or else the weebs are gonna come after me. Weebs are intense anime fans. That's what we call them, weeaboos, extended. But so when I started anime, I guess growing up with like everybody else, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Those were the ones starting off with 4Kids TV, and then also Toonami. And then in 7th grade is when I really took on like the larger animes. Like I started with Naruto. At the point that they were starting the second half of Naruto, and so that's when I started to pick up the series. And from then on, I started watching other animes, like Angel Beat was one of my favorites back then, which is back to Carly's point, about a question about whether or not all animes are action.
Yeah.
No, they're not. But most of a lot of the fans, at least vocally, are fans of a genre that is called shonen, which is the action anime. Shonen literally means young boy. So the animes are directed towards teen girls, and that's what the genre is. So the Narutos, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z's, they're all shonen. But there are plenty of animes that don't fall under shonen. There are some that Jetix too. Yeah, that's true. Jetix also had some animes.
Jetix is a classic.
Yeah. So they also had some animes on there too.
So for people who haven't watched anime like a ton, like me, I watched this Invincible, and what drew me to it was this like superhero nature, but it's also like about a teenager who's growing up and he's like trying to understand himself and things like that. And it's like this drama nature, kind of like, Totally Spies or, even Yu-Gi-Oh! To a certain extent, or Teen Titans. And to me, like, that's what kind of drew me, is like, okay, there's this story about someone who's going through some type of growth. And, as they go through this growth, they have a responsibility to be like a superhero or, play these card games because it has to do with the gods or whatever the case may be. Like, so to me, this Invincible, even though it's not really an anime, for you guys in the comment section asking, what are some good animes to start? Like, to me, this was kind of like something I would say you can start to watch. It is very gory at one point, but you can close your eyes for those. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about that too. But for those of us like myself who like the drama and the storyline, what would be a good anime for us to kind of, get our feet wet?
So I would say so just hopping off of Invincible, because Invincible has a lot of characteristics that are found in shonen animes. In particular, 2 points, which I'll go back. I'll make 2 suggestions based off of Invincible alone. So if you liked the superhero aspect of it, right now, an anime that is currently running that is a popular one for nowadays is My Hero Academia. And the difference I would say between Invincible and My Hero is that you get a way more in-depth feeling of what the other side characters are going through and how they feel. And there's a bigger relationship between the superheroes in training, the students, and the society that they're in. And that's a big thing about anime. A lot of animes really take inspiration from real life and apply it, which is one of my favorite things about it. One of my favorite animes, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, takes a lot from music culture.
Watch that?
Yeah. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. Actually, I should even say that only because Crunchyroll should be sponsoring this for me to say that. But so don't get your Crunchyroll account yet until Tyrone gets a code, so you guys can get the Crunchyroll account. But yes, Crunchyroll would be one of them. Hulu is also
another place.
Hulu's clutch. They've got
Hulu has a lot of animes.
Yeah. Netflix is starting to catch up, but Hulu's been clutch lately.
Netflix has been producing their own animes, which is kind of crazy.
Well, but here's one thing they've been doing too. You're right about that. They've been producing their own, but they've also been taking animes and saying Netflix original. And
they kind of do that with a lot of
because they buy the rights or something.
Yeah, it's like Elon Musk buying Tesla.
Make sure they work that, like, and I respect it. But to Carly's point
Crunchyroll
earlier,
is legal.
Yes, it is.
In the chat, Crunchyroll is essentially a streaming service for anime.
Got it.
I wouldn't be able to say anything else. I know some sites, but I would just you would have to find them yourself. I would not disclose.
Yes.
But to Chloe's question before, she was like, "Are there any animes that are cute, fun animes for the girlies to watch?" In particular, in particular, there are many animes that are like made in a way that is not like you can tell that the audience isn't just like heavily hormonal men or young boys. Like there are tons of animes like that, but without like a large cast of women characters.
Speak of hormonal
Sailor Moon is a perfect.
Speak of hormonal teenagers. There was an anime. I think I told you about this back when we were in college together. There was an anime. I don't know the name. It kills me. It was about this young boy, and there was this older girl. She was so hot, so sexy, and he would like kind of lust after her and kind of do these little things. I think she was in high school and he was like middle school or something, and he would try to like do these tasks and things for her, and then she would turn into a demon. And I was like, yo, I used to like stay up late at like 10:30 to watch this show, and I'd be like, make sure my parents aren't around, because like she had like the long, nice legs. I do not know what it's called. And like the day someone, like I want to get big and famous and blow up just so I can be like tweet out, what is this anime? And someone can help me, man. I don't know if you know that anime or anyone watching, but if you know that, please, because
it sounds like it woke up. It sounds like it awakened something inside of you.
Listen, no.
You've been empty ever
since. It was amazing. Like the storyline, like I remember as a kid being like, every episode like left me on a cliff, and I was like, oh, I gotta know. And then one day, Adult Swim just stopped showing it, and I was like,
that's the worst.
And back in the day, we didn't have all these streaming services.
Yeah. Right. Back in the day, if you missed what was on TV, it was gone forever.
Anime.
Sorry, Matt, say that again?
Yeah, once it was gone from, it was gone.
I was saying, I remember back in the days, like watching. You go on, and like we didn't have the concept of like chronological order. So like me with Teen Titans, I watched that show sideways and backwards.
Right.
I've never watched it the full way through.
And that's the other part that's difficult too about anime, because it's like growing up, if you miss an episode, you'd be like, what? Like I remember I actually didn't like Dragon Ball Z. I thought it was super nerdy. That's another thing, like people forget, is anime and superheroes were not cool growing up. And I remember being like, this is so goddamn nerdy anime, and like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. And I got hooked because I like saw a couple episodes of it, and I was like, damn, I want to know what happens next. But to Matt's point earlier, it would be like, all right, like this has been 3 or 4 episodes, and we still got Goku sitting here like, and I'm like,
that was a big Dragon Ball Z problem, like huge Dragon Ball Z problem. Like they literally, there is a 20-minute video of Goku going Super Saiyan 3. Like that was, it was, you can literally go up and he's screaming the entire time. The actual voice actor for Goku during that time said his throat was so sore taking that take because they had him yelling straight the entire transformation.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
With that being said, I definitely think we should move into the topic for today and how this all relates back to Invincible.
Yes.
You know, and we already quickly discussed over it, like, you know, the plot points following Mark Grayson in his journey of self-discovery while taking on the responsibilities of being a superhero while trying to live up to his father's legacy, Omni-Man. So just right off the bat, like, you know, what were your thoughts on the series as a whole? Just from the moment you started watching it to the ending, like, what were your feelings about it in its entirety?
So, for me, Oh, yeah.
Should I?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
No, I mean, I guess this is how we'll do this, all right? Why don't I, since I'm the noob, I'm the weeb, right? I'll go first, and then Matt, you'll say your thoughts, and then you'll clean up everything. How about that? Well, let me have my naive thoughts out on camera, okay?
Yeah.
So, my initial thought watching this, I was like, again, I'm someone who watches the Dawson Creeks of the world, you know, the teen dramas and romance. I like that type of stuff. It's fun. It reminds me of growing up being silly, you know, with Matt and Joanne growing up. And it's just like takes me back to those times, you know, us being silly about girls or basketball and life and these random goals. And so I kind of like relate to those characters like Mark and Adam Eve, for example. And so as I'm watching this, I love my dad, but I never like was like, oh my God, my dad is the coolest guy ever. So to me, it was kind of interesting because I do know some people who look at their dad like that. So I was like, that's kind of an interesting little perspective. And I think a lot of times in superhero genres, people look up to their like parent as like, oh my God, they're perfect and everything. So I was like, but I knew there was a lot of buzz about this show, and I was like, there's got to be some more meat to this, you know? And I was like, that Omni-Man is almost like I think it's J.K. Simmons who plays him, right?
Yes, yeah.
J.K. Simmons is just a sinister bastard in general, you know? And I was like, something about him has to be off because J.K. Simmons, he doesn't play anyone. Even when he plays in Spider-Man, what's the guy who owns the planet?
J. Jonah
Daily, what's it called?
I think J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, like Spider-Man's like newspaper place. Like he's always like, "Oh, I hate Spider-Man. He saved the day, and my mother was in there." And I'm just like he's never happy. He's like Spider-Man saves his mom, and he's just like, "If he came near me, I would spit on him." And I'm just like, he's always got like this nasty, like it's like he's not a bad guy, but he's always got that undertone. So I was like, where are they going with this? And the ending of episode 1 had me be like, what the fuck? Where are we? You know?
Yes.
Matt, what about you?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'd say it's a lot of your elements, like watching the show, just like I came into it in a similar sense, like, okay, a lot of people are buzzing about this, and they have to like do something new here. And I know like this series is based off of the Image comic series from 2003, and I remember seeing like some of the graphic novels like back we could go in the store. I had to see them throughout Newbury Comics. Like the Invincible is very iconic. But going into it, I got a lot of like Sky High vibes about like, you know, being the son of a major superhero.
Yeah.
And I think like from the jump, like you get introduced to all these heroes, and it like really gives you that Justice League vibe of like this is just like an age of heroes where heroes exist. But like they hinted off showing you like little things of like, you know, stuff you don't necessarily see during superhero things. Like this is just like a first thing that happens in like the first episode. It's not really a spoiler, but it's a really cool detail of like a character basically saving somebody from something, and they move them really quickly, but then the person, like, you know, you don't think about it, they're moving really quickly in space, and they puke, and the person's like, oh shit, I'm sorry. And it's like little tiny, like the hint of those little tiny details,
like the realism
fun
of superheroes.
Yeah, there's just a realistic approach to it. So you're seeing like, okay, this is really cute. Then I felt a lot of stuff happened in the first episode, like that most shows would kind of stretch over a span of time. So I was like, okay, like the pacing seemed really fast.
Yeah.
But like, to your point, the last couple minutes of the first episode, I've never screamed more at my TV, just in complete confusion about what the fuck was happening. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What's going on? And from that point, everything, like they do a beautiful job of laying the groundwork of what you think the show's going to be, and then they slap the table and flip it over. And for the rest of the show, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. And I love the way that they kind of lay that groundwork. They tell you like, hey, you think you know what you're watching, you don't. And this is a lot of stuff that this is what our world would look like if they were real superheroes in it, and it's not as cool as you think.
And I think that's a really important point for those who are like, you know, oh, should I watch the show or not? Like the idea that superheroes aren't perfect and they're like normal, and it's like someone's flying and they're going too quickly and then they throw up. Like that's the type of thing to me that makes this show relatable to people who necessarily aren't like big anime people or even superhero people, because we're all human, you know? And what about you, Jan?
Yeah, I think that was a point that they like put in there, and it really stood out because you don't really get that a lot. You don't think of the consequences of like the Flash or anybody like that. So it was a nice little detail they put in, and they kind of sprinkled like little details like that all across the first episode. But like you guys were saying, the direction that they went as far as like, you know, taking you on a ride and then completely flipping everything on its head was the like a great opening, no matter what you watch or if you've ever watched a superhero show or anime. And so my first glances, like when I first started watching it, I immediately saw the Justice League similarities. And once I saw that, I was kind of like, okay, maybe the show isn't focused so much on the superpowers of the superheroes. It has to be focused on something else. Especially when you have a character like Omni-Man, who is the Superman, like has all these powers. So Maybe there's something else. Maybe they're trying to tell a different story of a Superman in a certain scenario. So that's how my first glance, and of course, the big ending of episode one. But then throughout the series, as you start to get to know Mark, that's when the sort of anime tropes start to come up, because in the process of like a hero finding their own, that is always like the main theme of a shonen. Like how does a hero come to their own?
Yeah.
What are the moral what are the moral what are the morals that they
Implications?
grasp on
Yeah.
to? Like just and that sort of you start to see them come with Mark, and then it's just like now as every hero you have to challenge those morals against a real foe, and it's just amazing to see how they let that come together. And it's one of my like it's one of the things that I was just like, you know what, this is very very much like a certain anime that I watched. I think
What anime?
yeah, I don't Dragon Ball Z. So
Nah.
so in Dragon Ball Z, this is very early on in Dragon Ball Z, like literally the first arc, right? Yeah, the first arc. Um, Goku is tested against yeah, I'm not gonna go into more detail than that, but Goku is just
but it's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I was thinking back like once I got towards the end of the season when it got real crazy. It made me think of Kevin Hart the Kid's, his line. They made a mess everywhere they go, every single where they go, because there is a scene at the end where they just destroy the whole city, man. And the whole time I was just thinking like, usually we don't get to see what actually happens when someone's in the building and it crashes.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking was like really neat about this. So.
Oh, to your point before, I was thinking back to Marvel Civil War and the scene with Scarlet Witch, the big scene that sparks everything, where she throws crossbones into the air and he blows up, and then you see everybody outside. They're like, "Oh my God, why'd you do that?" But it's like we didn't see any of the actual damage or like any people hurt. Same thing with Sokovia and the entire Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yes,
Ultron's lifting up the rock, and you see. It's just like you see clips of robots shooting at just nothing, and you're like, and you hear screaming. Like, quick thing, like when the alien in the second episode, a similar situation happens. Your classic.
We're gonna get into spoilers at this point. Why not? So if you haven't seen the show and you're a little worried, totally okay to leave right now and come back and rewatch this. But I have to say, even if you hear a spoiler, and I've changed on this, I think you can still enjoy the show because
I think so too.
You don't know how we get there, and I don't think we'll get specific, but not too specific. I think, but
I'm gonna tread a little lightly. I was gonna try and be a little vague with this, but this scene in the second episode, you have. The show covers a lot of superhero tropes, and the second trope is like, oh shoot, an alien invasion, a bunch of aliens show up, and you think it's gonna be like, oh, this is like Avengers, this is the classic aliens come around, they're like moseying around and shit. No, like you see lasers fucking shred through people and like old people explode, and like innocent civilians just fucking obliterated, and like you and the main character are like. Holy fucking shit! What the hell? And it's like you're not used to seeing that kind of stuff. Like none of the consequences and the danger, if looking back on Marvel films, really felt like believable. Because you're like, okay, we know that our heroes do the right thing, and we know we're following them because this is their movie. Where it's like in this show, like consequences happen, and you can have good intentions and like do the good classic hero move, and it isn't guaranteed to work out for you. That's something I love so much.
But I remember hearing you guys' take on it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Did they go back and try to bring in some of that realism as far as the events that happened in
Well, what I was going to say is I don't think it's a fair comparison, Matt, because they're really two different worlds. I mean, when we are watching a Marvel movie, we like turn our heads onto, okay, this is Marvel. So like we know in Marvel, there are consequences, but they're different. Like we're not gonna see a kid die, but like this
Well, I'm not asking to
is.
see a kid die, but I was just saying compared. I'll just put this point in quick. It was more along the lines of like, there's a difference between seeing aliens kind of aimlessly shoot at nothing, and then you hear later that a bunch of bad things happened,
Right.
than like seeing it. And so you are right.
But
there
I think
are two different stories.
Yeah, but I think
one weighs more than the other.
To the little bit of the pushback, just in the defense of Marvel, is I just think that, you know, obviously there's a different audience. Like we're watching premium. This is a premium service like HBO, Showtime, Amazon, whatever. So they're allowed to be a bit. If Marvel could do that, those would be the greatest movies of all time. Period.
Oh, literally.
But let's move into real quick. So, I mean, we haven't mentioned, if you guys look up Invincible cast, the names are crazy. Like, I mean, you got Mahershala Ali's in this. You got J.K. Simmons, Stephen Yeun, who got robbed of an Academy Award. Gillian Jacobs from Community. Mark Hamill, who is Luke Skywalker. Seth Rogen is in it.
He doesn't play Luke Skywalker in the show, but he's in the show.
Sandra Oh plays the mother, she's awesome. Jason Mantzoukas, who is in The Good Place. Chris Diamondtupa, who's from Silicon Valley. He plays the douchey, like, investor guy, is in this. Djimon Housen. I always feel like he's in Star Trek. He's the black bald dude with like the little gray beard.
Is he in Star Trek? He's cool. No, he might have been, but he was in Marvel.
Blood Diamond.
He played one of the
one
of the alien guys.
Justin Roiland from Rick and Morty's in it, but he doesn't. I thought that was a funny moment. Like I thought it was gonna take me out of it, but he was funny. I thought. But the reason I'm mentioning all this is because I'm curious, who are your favorite characters? I'll put some of these characters up on the screen so people can see who they are. But
since Yao went last, let's let Yao start first this time.
Okay. Shoot, my favorite character. Actually, hold on me because now I have to really. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. I like Robot. But I like Robot to an extent, like up until later on. I don't know.
Yeah.
There were plenty of characters to dislike, which I like.
I agree.
Even though they were quote unquote heroes.
Rex was a douche.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rex Poe is the fucking worst.
But he's necessary. He's necessary.
Yeah. And he does end up having some redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
It would have to be for me, Seth Rogen's character, Alan the Alien.
Alan the Alien, bro, that shit cracks me up.
I love Alan the Alien. My favorite, I really like Cecil. I think he was awesome. Adam Eve, I really liked her. I'm really, really curious to see what they're going to do with her in the second season. I feel like they were teasing her a lot. They didn't want to give her too much this one. And one that's not on here is Damien Darkblood. He's the devil. I thought he was awesome.
He was so fucking good, dude. He was such a unique character. Like, for those that don't know, he's basically like a demonic investigator that like shows up, but like he'll show up. It's said that like when a demon shows up in a space, like it gets really cold. So there'll be stuff where like suddenly you'll see somebody's breath and they'll be like, all right, everybody get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then like they turn and the Damien Darkblood's there and he's like, all right. He's kind of like crud. There's a character from Constantine from DC. He's like a paranormal investigator. Damien Darkblood kind of reminds me of him.
Okay.
And the other thing I liked about Cecil and just like, I don't even know what you call it, like the FBI or something like that. Little